I didn't know that they released a Transformers game on Wii U, but it seems pretty good. These robots look pretty good, you know. I think they really captured Bumblebee well and Optimus Prime. Yeah, I think they did a good job here. Yes, looks pretty nice.
I love Transformers. Who doesn't love Transformers?
Yeah, they're great. Anyway, hi, welcome to RIP Wii U. This is Xenoblade Chronicles X, and this is the fucking coolest thing in the goddamn universe. All right?
You're having a little fly around there. Like
is the coolest fucking thing ever made, yeah. So this is a game, Bally, that I literally lost my life to for several hours. Let's say
for several months.
76 hours 53 minutes, apparently, according to this. For several months. And fuck me, this game has one of my favorite open worlds in any game ever made. Now, we have to make sure that we compare it when Zelda comes out. Tomorrow, by the way. This is, in fact, the last episode of RIP Wii U. Xenoblade Chronicles. As we're saying bye to the series. It's a fun series,
we have to say RIP Wii U.
Yeah, oh no, the series is dead. How did we left it alone, Bally? It's such a shame.
But as much as I've only sunk about 30 hours into this game,
yeah, you did get the scale, didn't you?
I did get the scale.
Unfortunately, it probably takes another 30 hours to get it to this point where you can jet across the sky.
As little as I've played compared to you, I already agree that it might be my favorite open world ever. Now, I've not played many open world games, and I'm super excited for Breath of the Wild and everything that can do. But ultimately, this is an alien world. As much as Breath of the Wild, I think, is going to be incredibly impressive as a world to explore, we already know that it's playing off of a fairly realistic style, even if the art style is very unrealistic in many aspects. It's very stylized. But this is just like crazy alien structures and creatures and land masses and landforms and seas and lakes.
I mean, just fucking look at this.
Oh, it's so
fucking
cool.
Look at how amazing this is. And the one thing that I think is truly great about this game is the seamlessness, right? Of the fact that I was just in Caldros, the final continent, and now I'm flying across Silverlum, and soon we'll cross into Oblivia. Like, it's all one world. There's no loading screens in between any of it.
But like, for your favorite world, we should definitely like get down on like experience. Say like,
totally.
What's that rainforest area? Noctilum.
Noctilum, yeah. Noctilum's a great place to go. We'll probably head there in a second. But Bally, one of the things about this game is like the battle system is very similar to the original Xenoblade, but it has the added layer of, you know, the scales and their crazy
I'd say, I mean, it
additions.
feels like more than one layer of complication added in my view. It felt like, as much as I'd barely played many RPGs before the first Xenoblade, by the time that Xenoblade Chronicles X came around, I'd not played a great deal more, and I definitely got very overwhelmed by many of the systems. I find like the fonts on menus are horrendous in this game, and even stuff like that did put me off a lot because there's so many numbers, there's so many options. I think the game's not great in guiding you where to go sometimes in terms of who you need to speak to and how to locate those people. And it's such a shame because for me, I agree with you entirely about this open world. It's unbelievable. It's spectacular. But for me, there were just a few too many niggly things that weighed it down from an RPG perspective, and I think for someone like you who's played far more RPGs, you were able to sort of digest them.
Oh, look at that! I just unlocked a scenic viewpoint, something that I hadn't.
I mean, there's a bazillion in this game, aren't there?
Oh yeah, even if they don't label them as such, like they do exist. So, very true. I've got a fully decked out Skell here. This is the most expensive Skell in the game, and I'll tell you what, Bally. I'm glad I have this thing, but also the fact that I had to get this thing is really something that should tell you the problems with this game, because I kind of got to the end of the game after around 55 hours. You know, I'd spent a whole week playing it non-stop, and I was absolutely in it, and I got to the final boss, and guess what? The final boss was just the most brutal, destructive thing I've ever dealt with in a game. Like, it sucked.
I think I've almost resigned the idea that I don't think I'm going to beat that final boss. boss, but I definitely still want to invest more time in this game.
Look, so Johnny Metz, I remember talking about this game and being like, I consider this game being beaten when I get the flying scale.
Right.
And I think that's a good place to aim for, honestly,
I can
because
see where he's coming from.
that is the best fucking thing about this game. Like, what other video game lets you do this? Like, it's insanity. You literally have this huge world below you and you just fly everywhere. It's incredible. No loads, no nothing.
And you're like, to explore an alien world from like this height and just, it's such an expansive world. Like, you know that video, is it John Reardon from Nintendo World Report? He did this video where he sort of put the worlds of, I think it was Witcher 3, GTA, and I want to say an Assassin's Creed game or something like that, and he put them all together.
I believe it was Skyrim.
Was it Skyrim? He put them all together, and then like he timed the, like, did some math and like worked out the distance and how long it took to cross, and then he worked out that all those games would fit inside of this game. And you're kind of like, wow, like how is that even possible? And like, there are massive open spaces at times in this game, but when you look at the actual design of the land features, there's a lot of detail to it, like far more so than you would think when you find out how big this game is.
Totally. It's kind of astonishing, and you can tell, like, I'm going full speed in this flying thing, and I'm like just got across one continent and I'm on my way to the next one. It's just truly crazy. But Oblivia up here, here's the thing that really got me about this game, is that you have the nodes on the touchscreen, right? You have all your money-making opportunities and all that stuff, and that's confusing as hell, and that's something that I'm sure that, you know, a lot of people had to look up guides for, and I certainly did, and, you know, I'm not sure how much you invested into that, Bally, but it was necessary for me to be able to afford these scales because they cost so much money, and the only way to get good money is to invest in that system. And as part of the like hexagons on the map, you have these different locations which act as fast travel points, but they're actually like areas that you can get nodes put down to kind of max out your map and be like, okay, I have 100% of the map. Speaking of the money, I just have 172,000 revenue that just popped into my bank, just a result of me hanging around. That's just what happens,
you know. You
buy
a few Switches with those.
I could, yeah.
You might even be able to afford a Pro Controller with that sort of money.
I might be. You're right. But has this thing entered into the equation so far in your game? Do you remember?
Yes, it has.
Because that was something I was a little wary about spoiling. Is like the big fucking alien ship just arrives. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, I guess this just adds on to the world.
I'd have been like,
cool way.
What's that, MBZ? What?
Yeah, I know.
Never explained that.
You know, we've been flying around a lot, Bally. I think we should probably fast travel to the next place. I'm going to try and get to Noctilum if I can. Try to figure out if I can even what I need to do on this
to
map.
me, maybe I should describe it once we get there.
Sure. No, you can go ahead now. I'm just figuring this out.
It feels like Avatar, that area. Like
yeah.
It feels so, there's like just dense rainforest, and certainly for me, some of the toughest enemies I've met yet have been in Noctilum, and they've just sort of appeared out of nowhere, and there's a lot of hidden stuff, and like you can't really see, it's not very expansive much of it, but you can really tell that they put a lot of effort into the design of that sort of, it is a rainforest, it's a jungle, I guess, and just so much stuff just pops out at you.
Sorry, it took me a bit of time to figure out. It's been a while since I've used this map, Bally. And yeah, the probes act double as fast travel points, so they're useful. And they also like open up potential things for different areas. Oh god, it's nighttime. That's a shame. I like to see this place during the day because it's really very cool to look at.
I mean, it's cool at night too. The Noctilum theme at night is a very good song.
I think Noctilum Day is probably my favourite song in the game, if we're talking about that. But yeah, it works. So anyway, we got out our scale, and here we are. Now this is the sort of thing I love, is us versus the world. Look at our scale versus this world. This is actually insane. Actually ridiculous. This is my character, by the way. He's fucking got devil's hair, or whatever. And
who are your friends?
I've got Lynn, and there's Elma.
Hi, Elma.
And then there's Hope, I guess is her name. Also, we've got fucking what's-his-face, the stupid potato. Terrible character. I can't remember.
How are you feeling about Xenoblade 2?
Oh boy, I'm so jazzed for Xenoblade 2. I think the one thing that a lot of people are annoyed about is the art style change, because it feels very generic anime, if you know what I mean.
Are you annoyed about that?
Not particularly. I think the one thing people criticize these games for are the faces. Like, oh, here we go. Oh, here's the music. It's kicking in. Na, 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 na. So good. You can't hear it, of course, Bally.
Yeah, I can't. You're right.
But
do you think Xenoblade 2 could be like an olive branch for an RPG noob like me?
No. I think it's just going to be just as Xenoblade-y as the original Xenoblade. Like, I do feel that they're going to lay it back from how X kind of
that's what
went
I'm
a bit more complicated.
I want some clean menus. I want some explanation. I want some...
Yeah.
You know.
And it's funny, I've been watching Ben Moore from the Easy Allies play through Xenoblade 1 for his first time, and actually paying more attention and him kind of like focusing on stuff, I've realized that they do a great job of explaining stuff in that game, actually.
Right, yeah.
Like in a way that is much more sensical than X, which kind of doesn't do a good job of saying whatever the hell is going on.
It's kind of overwhelming and...
Yeah, there's all this stuff about like, okay, you need to press this button when it's like lighting up and stuff, and it does get a little bit complex.
But I feel the chaining mechanics in the first game are more understandable.
Oh, totally, yeah.
So much of the battle stuff in this game
make a lot more sense. God.
Oh.
So apparently, Monolith, Monolith have helped out on Skyward Sword. We know that they have done stuff for the Zelda team before. And supposedly, like, they have done some stuff with Breath of the Wild, which I think is the smartest move possible. Because just look at the creation that they have here. And you want a talent like this working on a game like that, don't you? Like, you need their experience, you need their knowledge. Like there's lots of places here that you can go into nooks and crannies, and apparently Zelda has like so many hidden secrets in its world and stuff that you can find, and this game may not have that much more of that stuff, or not as much of that stuff generally, but it's just lovely to look at, and you get rewarded for like finding places. That's the thing I love about the Xenoblade series, is going to locations gives you experience, so you're leveling up for just walking around. And that's amazing, because walking around and just taking things in is just a lovely thing to do anyway. So,
yeah, and I'm sure Breath of the Wild will reward you far more for exploring more and discovering things as well, hopefully.
Yes. From what we've heard so far, it definitely seems that way.
I mean, we've both been avoiding a fair amount of spoilers, I don't know. We've not...
Yeah, I've looked at quite a lot of stuff this last couple of days because the thirst is real and I need Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, my thirst is
oh my god,
well.
GameSpot put up this video which is incredible. It basically has a lot of Link snowboarding and surfing on the shield, and it's stuff we've seen before. We've seen him surfboard, but they put it to the backing track of this extreme sports music, and oh my god, it's fucking hilarious. It's so good. Like, there's this moment where they're sliding down an ice hill, and he pulls out his bow and shoots a fire arrow into a moblin, like, while he's sliding down. It's, like, the most badass extreme moves thing ever. I love it. It's incredible. Now, before we go, Bally, I need to show you my favorite continent, which is the big old desert. It's Oblivia.
The big old desert.
And, I don't know, some people are like, Oblivia seems barren and empty. But I think Oblivia is awesome, especially because you have the giant rings which show you like off in the distance, and you're like, fucking hell, this thing is huge. Like, look at that ring is enormous. Like, this whole game, this is one of the first places you come to, and this whole game is like hanging in front of you. It's like this thread, and you're like, oh, one day I'll be able to get to the top of that fucking ring. And guess what, Bally? Today is that day. We're gonna do it, and then we're gonna jump off the top, because that's always fun. The fun thing about open world games, like, you remember Spider-Man 2.
Exactly.
We love just the thing we did the most often in that game was we went to the top of the Empire State Building and we jumped off, and it's great. It's just the sense of scale.
Again and again, just for fun, because it was just so good.
Amazing stuff.
And like, I'm so glad that the glider is in Breath of the Wild, and like that you will have the ability, there will be a thrill from jumping off the top of stuff, and working your way down, and
it feels very Spider-Man, doesn't it? It's like you have this clutch to hang on to, so that even if you jump off something, you feel safe doing so.
That other mech just went scale, I should say, it just fell right past you.
He scaled right past her. Look at these moons, though. Something I never really realized. Like fucking
let's fly to them.
Moons. Fly me to the moon. Okay, God, I'm so tiny. Holy shit, this is actually obscene. All right, let's jump here if we can. Oh God, oh no, I fell through. Oh no, I fucked it up.
I think in the time it takes you to fall from top of here to the ground, we can talk about the end of RIP Wii U.
I mean, we kind of have already, but you know, it's been fun, Bally.
It has been.
It's been good.
I'm gonna miss the Wii U. It's a great system.
Yeah, it is a great system. It's had its time in the sun. It's time to kill it. So let's jump off the bridge and murder it, Bally.
Let's go.
Oh no! This is like almost Blissey HP going down levels of time going past. Make yourself a cup of tea, guys. Great reference. Oh, and we take no damage whatsoever.
They have it, and your mates have teleported to you already.
Absolutely.
What more could you want?
I do like this. There is a story justification for you falling like that and not taking damage, which I know you've come across, and it's probably the most interesting part of this entire narrative. I'm just going to tell you about it. Doesn't get much better than that,
really
unfortunately.
Motivates me to finish this game.
I know, it really does. But hey, it's fun time. Just as the morning is coming up, 3 a.m., looking towards the horizon. And that's Xenoblade Chronicles X. Let's just stand by this palm tree.
As the sun rises, the era of Switch is upon us.
The era of the moon falls, Switch rises, and we'll see you all with that stuff. So, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for watching RIP Wii U. I hope you enjoyed the series. It was fun. And from me, from Bally, goodbye, everyone.